have belches constantly.
Bloated. Mm.
Yes. So
Mitch, were you thinking about Catalina Island? Is that what you're thinking of?
Maybe I thought there's some island off of California that has like buffalo or some like population of bison.
Yeah, it's like a no building island.
Yeah, there's
It's like
something
only for outdoor and hiking. It might be Catalina.
there's something special about it. There's like a population of endangered
Hawaii?
buffalo
Is it
there or
Hawaii?
something.
Not Hawaii. That's a different one.
Don't think it's Hawaii. Tonga, mate. Tonga? Maybe.
I think that's also where.
Tatanka?
Oh, full circle.
Topanga.
Yes, Tatanka. All right, Mitch, what are you drinking?
All right, this is my last real alcohol podcast for a while. I guess unless we stream from Palm Springs, but the last real episode. So I'm going out with a bang. I can't remember if it was somebody on the podcast. I think it might have been Kojak who recommended that I try mezcal. He's like, "You're so into tequila. Why don't you try mezcal?" Which is like a smoked. It's kind of like a smoky version of tequila. It's a brewed with different type of agave things, like different Angustifolia, Espadin agave. So it's like a smoky, I think stronger
In
version
Spanish,
of tequila.
that means
So
buffalo semen.
yeah.
Interesting.
If you
So
Is it good?
It's definitely got more going on than regular tequila. I'm not sure if it's good. It's very like very chemically almost, like very
Like vodka-y?
very alcoholic. Yep, but also like you can definitely get smoke. I've had it a little bit. I've been working on this bottle for a week and a half or whatever, and I've been having it with all the LaCroix. It tastes good and all that stuff. It gives a little extra, like, oh, I know I mixed this with something. Whereas sometimes with straight tequila, at this point for me, like if I mix it with a lime LaCroix, I don't taste the tequila at all. This is like a little stronger, so like you definitely taste a little stronger, a little smokier, which adds a little extra something to it. So I like it. It was the only bottle that the liquor store had, so I think it's kind of rare to get. You know, the liquor store has 20 different tequilas and one mezcal. I had to ask about it because it didn't jump out at me off the shelf. So
Interesting.
I'm gonna keep experimenting a little bit. Well, I'm not for the next 4 months, as you know, but after that, I think I probably will dabble into it a little bit more.
Cool. What about you, Puff?
I'm also drinking a double IPA out of California. This is the Firestone Mind Haze. Firestone Walker Brewing Company from Paso Robles? Robles? It's kind of halfway between LA and San Francisco. So not
Seems like you
interestingly
boys
enough-
had California on the brain. Any
I
any
didn't even
reason
think of
for
that.
I'm afraid to say, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, man.
It's very-
I'm also freaking out just a little bit because I hear both of my kids up playing, which should not be happening right now.
Maybe they're on Pacific Coast time.
If I have to jettison briefly, that's why. You'll forgive me.
Yes, we will.
But yeah, we've got California on the brain because there's a trip coming up. And taking a trip with a bunch of dudes in the middle of the pandemic is bold. But we're going to try.
It's stressful.
It's bold. It's stressful. Like we've got protocol in place. We're doing as safe as we can. I mean, really, I think
I will
truly as
say-
safe as we can. But
Yeah, out of the 12 guys and like the group chats and stuff that we have, I don't get there are zero people who are like, whatever, man, let's just go. Let's have a
Right.
good time. We've been holed
Right.
up for 2 years. Let's go. Everybody's like, okay, here's what we think. Everybody should test, 2 days in advance, blah, 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 and all that stuff. So I think we're being responsible. And if not, we're at least really good at rationalizing it.
We're certainly, yeah, I was going to say, we're certainly doing enough to like make ourselves feel like we did enough. If that makes sense. That's not a weird circular thing,
what else can you
right?
do?
But like at a certain point, you have to do what you morally need to do to be okay with yourself, right? And we're getting back to it. Things are coming
Trying.
back. It's
We talked about, God, I don't know if we talked about it on air last time, but Gio and I got into a little bit of a discussion just about our kind of different risk thresholds.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm more to the point like, okay, I need to start forcing some return to normalcy. Otherwise, I think what it is a little bit of skepticism creeping in that there ever will be a like watershed moment of like, okay, we're good.
Now
you
we're
know?
good, right?
And if you don't kind of like take some purposeful steps, that it just might not happen, which is crazy, but it feels like that right now. You know, it's hard. Hey, man. So
Things will feel a little bit normal if like the trip goes off without a hitch, whatever. Like we'll feel a little bit more brazen probably going into the spring and summer where it's like, okay,
yeah.
like we're starting to come back.
What are you guys' families thinking about it? Are they giving you grief?
My wife gives me grief about it the same amount. It has nothing to do with COVID, but it has everything to do with, leaving in the middle of Minnesota winter with her with 3 kids for 4 days, like having to, and my in-laws are going to come help and that's all good, but it's still, and it feels especially acute since we've been together. Like she hasn't had a business trip for 2.5 years. I haven't left for 2.5 years either, except for our, long weekend other golf trip. So it's like, it seems like the only time in the last 3 years that anyone's been apart from each other is when I'm going golfing. God, that's just like a bad, optically, it's bad.
Yeah.
So
I can tell you that
COVID.
As a person who plans all of these golf trips, I don't feel bad at all. It's like music to my ears when you guys are like, "Yep, that's the last time I left. That's the last time I did something.
Right?
It was a golf trip." I
frequently get kind of side eyes about like, I'll be chuckling on a group text or something, or I'll be putting a lot of effort, for instance, into like choosing our wardrobe for the Ryder Cup day, and she's like, you haven't bought like regular pants in 4 years, and you're like really worried about which polo shirt to get. And I was like, yeah, like you ordered 7 polo shirts. Well, yeah, I had to get 2 extra in case we have new guys next year
for one afternoon. It's not even like hey, this is a gift that we're gonna wear a lot. No, it's like one round of golf.
Right. So that's
Team
kind
Europe,
of the vibe.
Team Europe's
with
gonna
our
look good
family
this year.
Yeah, maybe we kicked it
New
up
hats,
a notch.
New shirts.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
I was feeling a little bit guilty and getting a little bit of grief. Not too much. I don't usually have to deal with too much. But we were having dinner with my parents who live nearby recently. And they were saying that they were going to go visit my aunt and uncle who live in Florida during that exact week. And so it was like, do they have one extra room? And so this whole plan, like 2-3 weeks ago, came together where my wife and kids are over the exact same time period going to fly to Florida and have their own vacation with plenty of like family help around for that, which is a godsend, right? Because now it's like guilt-free. And I think she kind of feels the same way I do about like COVID risk. Like at some point you got to take some calculated risk, and we're doing it. So
I will say, usually this time of year, like getting ready for the golf trip, I'm like worn down by the winter and just like the cold, and like that's a big part of going on this trip for me is like being in the sun and not worrying. But it's different this year. Like I don't care at all about the winter. Like it is all COVID release for me. Like give me a break from
the winter seems
the monotony
like
and
nothing compared to the
Do you guys remember in 2020 when somebody, we were like sitting around the pool and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, my wife thinks this COVID thing is going to be like a big deal or something," and we kind of like all chuckled.
I do remember that.
And like looking back, it was like, oh man, it was some joke about like, they think they're not going to let us.
Lucas.
Yeah, I think you're right. And he was like, yeah, she thinks that we're not going to be able to fly back because of it. Like we were like, oh. Like 2 weeks later, the whole world shut down.
Yeah. I mean, we traveled in February 2020, and then really March was when things went super south.
Yep.
Oof.
Did we get to everybody's drink? I don't think we did. Gio?
Sorry.
I'm just finishing my Amstel Light. It's really, really, really good, like easy drinking beer.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's just like got a little more flavor than a Coors Light or a Coors Light's family of beers, but it's not heavy. It's not hoppy. It's just good. It's really tasty.
We talked previously about the legendary keg of that in our college days, but it made me think of Lorana. You guys remember that little bar slash club? Is that
course.
still there?
Vaguely.
I think so.
The
No,
Frog,
there.
right?
I think it just closed.
Really?
They have a new place in Decorah now that's way better.
Oh, yeah?
Amstel is fancy Coors. 46
Ruby
Ultra Star. Howdy,
46.
howdy, 46.
Ah,
What's up?
Spiky. Welcome to the show.
So we should take a trip down there sometime too to celebrate post-COVID.
Roscoe's is
unite
closed
the
for
clans
sure.
a little bit.
Roscoe's is down. They knocked it down.
Really?
No
I
desire.
think we already talked about that.
Oh yeah, I
didn't we?
did hear that. Yeah.
They're putting up a gas
Dude.
station there instead of across the street from the
Oh,
other
that's
gas
right.
station.
Right across from the other.
Two others.
Stupid. Whatever.
Lorana is still open, but listen to these hours: 11:30 to 2,
This is what they were.
5 to 8:30. You imagine
That's
restaurant?
not always what it was, right?
I mean, they used to be open late for the bars and stuff.
Yeah.
3 hours between lunch and dinner service? Weird.
No, 5 to 8. Yeah, each has about 3 hours.
Huh. And it's
Closed
not
on
like a big place. It takes a long time to turn over or
Clean.
something.
Yeah.
Closed
Huh,
on Sunday and Monday.
someone's living the good life. Like, you know what? This restaurant stuff is okay, but I like taking a nap in the middle of the day.
The two owners were big potheads. From
Oh,
what I
really?
remember. Yeah.
That shouldn't surprise me.
Makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
In an attempt to become even better guys to know, each podcast we take part in an official Good Guys to Know challenge. These challenges, which range from doing a juice cleanse to taking the U.S. citizenship tests, last for a fortnight, and will definitely make you a good guy to know. As always, you as listeners are encouraged to attempt our challenges along with us. We may have had the best challenge participation of all time
It was
with this
fun.
challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Guys,
so much
guys,
a challenge.
listeners,
It's
combined.
Yeah. Just a pleasure. Not so much challenging. It was just a pleasure to add this to my life. And I think I shall continue.
I agree. We've done these before, like jumped on the popular bandwagon game,
Pokemon
basically.
Go,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
But this one felt different to me, and I'm just curious if you guys thought about that. And like, the challenge is playing Wordle, but I'm curious like what you guys thought about this as a game and like why it was better